old versus new. Clearly, you can see right behind us which one is new and which one is old. By old, this is the old Vietnam era stuff. You call it landing mat stuff.
Correct, it was landing mat. I've actually started referring to it as scrap metal because when we got it, that's all it was scrap metal. But prior to that, the military used it as landing mat in Vietnam.
And this is a certain section of Tijuana you can see over our shoulder. On the other side of this fencing here, it's a very poor section of Tijuana. And during the height of the caravan invasion, I call it, this was a very active area.
Correct. On November 25th, when we saw the big clash between my agents and the caravan members rocking and assaulting our agents, a lot of it did happen right here for this exact reason. They approached the border, couldn't get through the port of entry, and then they kind of split both east and west. And then they found sections like this where the old fencing was in place where they could easily get up and climb over it.
Right.
Clearly the new border barrier, you don't climb over this very easily.
Right, and so you added the concertina wire?
Correct. We did some of this in preparation as much as we could once we realized that caravan was approaching. It got here a lot quicker than we thought it would because of some of the coordination that took place down in Mexico. So this area right here did not have concertina wire. On the 25th when we had that clash, we added it immediately after.
And so the idea is to replace the old stuff with the new stuff. That this is Border Patrol approved kind of primary fencing, correct?
Correct. This is the design that we like. What I say by that is I can see through this. It's a solid steel on the outside, but it's hardened with different materials depending on what the threat we face in that specific area. On the inside, it's kind of a cost savings measure. It has an anti-climb plate at the top that even if you shimmy up one of these bollards, once you get to the top, you're going to need a rope or a ladder or something to get over that. Slows people down tremendously. But now, you can see here, if there were 30 people behind this, 100 people, I wouldn't be able to see them. I can see them immediately. So the second someone approaches a fence and starts to climb it, I can respond as an agent. We have a camera system in this area as well. And then all new border wall comes with technology, a sensor system that I'll just say it lets me know where a threat is and pretty much immediately. That's going to help my agents out as well. That's the package that you see behind me.
This old fencing was put up somewhere, we're guessing maybe late 70s, early 80s kind of thing. And it almost acts as a ladder. If you can kind of look closely at it, you see the slats there, right? It had good intentions, but it really is virtually, in this day and age, useless, correct?
Yeah, it delineates the border and it slows down vehicle drive-throughs, and that's it. It doesn't stop them. It was easy. Several times smugglers would cut through that. By having the double layer, it does. But what I really want to emphasize is we took what we had. That's why I highlight the fact we recycled steel and created a border barrier. It wasn't designed to be a fence. But what we learned from that, what we learned from testing different materials on the border, what we learned from the secondary fence here, what we learned from the prototype initiative and the systematic testing we did with that, proved that our border system works, and then we've improved it even from what we did before. And that's what we're building now, is to have an enduring infrastructure on the border that allows my agents more time to respond, secures an area with significantly less personnel before, and gives the American taxpayer more return on their investment.
And we can call this area of the border, which is the southernmost tip of California, just west. We're about a half-mile west of the San Ysidro border crossing, which is the most busy land port in the Western Hemisphere. This region, though, is now maybe the most secure portion of our southern border?
This is the most secure portion of the southern border. And let me put that into perspective. So before we built this infrastructure, proved it out before, gatekeeper, if you will, we were losing 9 out of 10 people that crossed the border through this area. And there were literally thousands of people pouring across. Our numbers are increasing right now, but we're still catching 9 out of 10 people that cross through this area on a regular basis. We lose the most people literally through this area during inclement weather events, fog events, where it challenges some of our technology. We still are losing people through here, but we're at 95% effective in this area, with 150 less agents in a 12-mile area than before. So it's not just about the effectiveness of the agents, it's literally about taking that human resource and being able to assign it to more remote areas, other areas, task forces, and other threats as well.
It's a combination. In other words, the wall or fencing, the double layer is another tool in your arsenal. You also have lights in this area here. You have motion detectors, I imagine. You don't want to give away all the secrets, but there is a whole arsenal that secures this area here. Yet there's the great portion of our southern border is not secure. There's X amount that has this stuff, and then there's X amount that has none. You've worked now in the San Diego sector, you've worked in the El Centro sector, you've worked in Arizona as well. You know about the sector in Texas. If you could wave a magic wand and put this stuff all the way across the border, in your mind, would that secure finally our southern flank?
It's still a mix, so that would make a huge investment in the security of this nation. But it is, like you mentioned a minute ago, a package deal. We need some congressional changes to fill some loopholes right now that resulted in these massive numbers of family units and unaccompanied minors coming to our border.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.